Hello SLAPAFISH community, welcome back to another World Tanks console video. So in this video, I'm going to be driving my IS-4, a tier 10 Soviet heavy tank on Desville. Also, if you end up liking this video, remember to subscribe because it helps out the channel a lot. And thank you. So, what about the IS-4? Why am I driving the IS-4? Well, if you didn't know, the IS-4 is actually on track from August 17th to August 31st. And that line is, you get a 50% silver discount on the T-46, which is the tier 3 medium tank of the line. Then it's the T-28 at 50% discount, which is a tier 4 medium tank. Then the tier 5 is the tier 5 heavy tank, the KV-1, which is another 50% off on its silver. Then the tier 6 is the T-150, a tier 6 heavy tank. Now, the rest of the tanks are 30% off, which is the tier 7 KV-3, which is a heavy tank. This recently got buffed. The next tank is the tier 8 KV-4 heavy tank. This is also another tank that got buffed. Then the next is the tier 9 Soviet heavy tank, the ST-1. This is also another tank that got buffed. And the IS-4, which is the tier 10. This is the one at the top of the tech tree, and it just recently got buffed. So there's a lot of stuff that has happened to this line this week. It got buffed, and it's also on track for like 2 or 3 weeks, 2 weeks. And yeah, that's actually kind of really nice to have the IS-4. So that's why I'm driving the IS-4. Now I'm actually going to tell you the equipment and the crew skills I actually have on my IS-4. Now, my IS-4 has a spawner, traction system, advanced powertrain, enhanced target info. Now, my commander actually has all 9 skills, which is 1 liter, rapid loading, 6 sense, steady aim, off-road driving, adrenaline rush, clutch braking, silent driving, and fire prevention. And that's what I have on my IS-4 crew. And that's how I have it loaded out. And so, yeah. What else? Oh yeah, let's go over the IS-4. What did they do to the IS-4? What kind of buffs? If you have not watched my video on the IS-4 line getting buffed, I'll leave that in the cards section above and in the end cards, so you can see I talk about the KV-3, the KV-4, the ST-1, the IS-4, and the KV-4K. But now let's talk a little bit. If you haven't watched that video or you have no idea what they did to the IS-4, I'm just gonna go over for it right now. They buffed the reload from 12 to 11 seconds, which gave it 200 more DPM, which now it has 2,398 DPM. Its aim time went from 2.9 to a 2.6. Its frontal hull armor went from 140 to 160. It removed the stock gun, which was a gun that you found on the KV-3, the KV-4, the IS, and a whole bunch of other things. They buffed the weak point on top, so it doesn't get overmatched from 30mm to 45mm, which used to take a 91mm caliber gun or higher to overmatch. Now it takes a 136mm caliber gun to overmatch it. Driver hatch went to 210 to 240mm, and the tank is now elite when you buy it. So, yeah, that's what has happened to the IS-4. Now, the IS-4 has been one of those tanks that I've featured on this channel a lot, and I haven't really featured it in a while because the RNG changes. Because RNG changes really suck, and I don't like playing heavy tanks right now because RNG changes actually really are terrible and they make armor completely useless. But the IS-4 has like armor. It does. It still has the armor. It's still fun to play. But I'd rather not play it until the RNG changes gets fixed. that goes to all heavy tanks in the game. But let's not talk about that right now, because I want to make a separate video about the RNG changes of why they're so bad. Anyway, so the IS-4, how do you play this tank? Basically, it's a side-scraping beast. You just angle your armor all the time. Used to, before the armor buff, the IS-4 actually had more armor in its side than frontal armor. It had 160, it might be 180, hold on, I can look at that right quick. I think it was 160 on the sides. Yeah, it was 160 it was 160 at the side and 140 at the front, so it gave it more side armor. Now it's 160 at the front, 160 at the side. Either way, that still has not gave up what its role is. Basically, this tank is a side-scraping beast. You're supposed to always angle your tank and bait the enemy into shooting your side armor. And that's how you bounce a lot of the shots. It's just baiting people to shooting your side. So, yes. Also, it is a heavy tank. This also has the highest DPM of any tier 10 Soviet heavy tank. It was the second, only behind the Object 277. I think with the reload buffs, it actually beat out the 277 now. I think. Or it might be really close together. It's really tied together. This one is the side-scraping beast that is pretty decently fast. The actual top speed of this tank is 42 kilometers. I have my IS-4 set up so it goes 49 because I have both speed equipment on it. And so, yeah. So this tank really moves and it can keep up with... I've actually raced like IS-7s in my IS-4 because the IS-7 actually has really terrible horsepower per ton compared to the IS-4. Also, watch this. Boom! Best kill. That's how you kill a 4005 right there. Easy. Yeah, I've raced like IS-7s and I like overpowered their speeds. Even, like, yes, I had the 2 speed equipments. Even before they put the speed equipments in the game, there was a platoon. It was a 5-man platoon. I was in a 5-man platoon. They all picked IS-7s. 4 of them had IS-7s, and I picked my IS-4. I could have picked the IS-7. I could have picked other tier 10 Soviet heavy tanks. I could have picked other heavy tanks that keep up with the IS-7 that had the top speed of the IS-7. But no, I wanted to pick the IS-4. The IS-4 actually kept up with the IS-7s. Slightly. Why? Because it has the better terrain resistances and the better horsepower per ton. And that's what makes the IS-4 actually really great. It has the armor, it has the DPM, and it has pretty decently speed, especially when you put those 2 speed equipments on. Also, your app was actually really good at 440. The only downside to this tank is 2 downsides. RNG changes, which affects heavy tanks the most, and the amount of ammunition it carries. As you can see, I'm down to 14 rounds of ammunition. This tank only carries 30 rounds. In my opinion, this was the only place it really needed buff. The IS-4 needed a ammo count buff. It needed it to like a 40, because when you're on the ST1, you have like the same gun, but 10 more rounds. There's other tanks in the game that has the same exact gun, longer reload, smaller tanks, but more ammo. The IS-4 runs out because it's high DPM. Well, because it's good DPM, and it's fast fire rate. It runs out of its 30 rounds, so it really needed the ammo buff. And yeah, maybe one day we'll get it. But anyway, that's it for this video. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Also remember to SLAPAFISH because orange not. And peace out. See ya.